Namaskar, dear devotees and friend. Let us begin the Panchama Veda, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Tavo kathamritam tapta jivanam kabibhiriritam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam srimadaatatam bhubi grinanti e bhurida janaha. We were discussing Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He was discussing with some of the devotees about the monastic and householders. The last 18th that we have discussed that, read about that, and it is continuing, the discussion continues. The householder may be a pious, charitable person, but it is difficult to become a renouncer, to give up everything, because of his nature. You have to hold something because of the responsibility, the duties that the householder is having. He can never become a renouncer. And unless and until one gives up everything, God realization is not possible. So obviously, that is the nature, this is the way it goes. If you are having even a little thing in the mind, a little desire about this world, then you cannot realize God. Completely, that is the knowledge. When we think about this world, something is there I can enjoy, then you cannot go to God. But you can be a very good person. One can become a very good person. There is no doubt, there is no problem. But God realization completely a different thing. That is what Sri Ramakrishna again and again he is mentioning. We have to have idea that this world is transitory. Though it is beautifully presented before us, its relations are so wonderful, but at the same time all our natures, that is attracted, our eyes, our nose, our ear, our tongue, that is made in such a way that forcing us to believe and to enjoy these worldly things. But the more you do it, the more you are away from the God. The reality is completely different thing. So what the renouncer means that a person who has truly renounced means that he has understood God and understood the futility of the world and have completely given it up. Now the transition period may be, one has become a monk, he understood intellectually that this world is transitory, the name, fame, beauty, comfort, all these things should go away, is practicing. And naturally about that also Sri Ramakrishna, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna has discussed that in many a times that we are beginning and then afterwards he is entering it. In the Buddhism also it is there, Arhat and all these different stages, and ultimately when one become completely, fully aware of the futility of the world and withdrawn from that worldly things, he realizes the God. And when he is leaving, if he can do that, it says Jivana Mukta. He is liberated while leaving. So this is the only thing. World and God, creator and the creation. If we have any little desire for the creation, then we cannot realize God. But what about the good things? There are good people. Of course it is there. That is the stages. And stages, slowly they are coming towards that condition that is called complete renunciation of the sannyasa. When the sannyasa completely giving up, that condition is there. Now giving up means, again, the one time we are accepting that this whole world is illusory, so I give up, I don't want it. And time comes when I see this world is nothing but the consciousness. Same consciousness manifested in different names and form. I see the original thing. Then living in the world is not a bondage, jivana mukta condition. But I understand this world is completely transitory. It is just like the mirage. It is not really there, but I am thinking that it is there. All this Vedantic way, if we are going on, then what happens? After the death, when the person is thinking and when he gets that maturity into that, then when he gives up the body, he goes to that ultimate thing. So, that is after the complete realization, he goes to that ultimate place after the death. So, it is called videha mukti. Deha, when he gives up the deha, the body, then mukti, videha mukti. But jivan mukta, when he is leaving, then he is mukta. Now, discussion is householder and the monastic. Who is good? No condition or no question of good or bad. A condition is a situation, is a position, is that type of mental condition. So, householders are slowly preparing themselves. You must have to practice truth, you must have to practice charity, you must have to practice self-restraint, and slowly the morality will help you to reach to the spirituality. So, we can conclude, as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna mentioned, it is the ritual is the basis, then comes the morality. All different type of things in the name of religion we are doing, that is called ritual. And after the ritual comes the morality. So, we accept, intellectually we accept that there is something better than this life. There is something which is the source of joy and happiness and eternity, and to achieve that, the first step, morality. What is the morality? Is basically, in one word we can say, is a self-restraint, control over the mind. And when I have understood the futility of the world and reaching to the truth and practicing those, controlling my senses, my mind, that is the moral stage. I am not telling the truth, I am not hurting others, I am not stealing. So, these are all morality. Majority of the religions, they stop over here, the morality. But if you are practicing morality genuinely, sincerely, that itself gives the purity of mind. What is the purity of mind? Again, the idea this world is completely a false idea. It is my imagination. It is not there. I am just thinking it is there. Very difficult to understand, because it is so much we are engrossed into that. When I am dreaming, I do not understand that I am dreaming. I am fully aware in the dream that I am suffering, I am enjoying, I am doing this, I am doing that. It is our daily experience, all of us we know. The same experience if we apply when in the awakened state, the same thing. In the dreaming state, when we come back to that awakened state, we understand, oh my God, that was a dream. And in the spiritual state, same thing happened. Oh my God, I was thinking that was real. This way. So, this is the understanding. So, if we can slowly develop, so what is the morality? These are the things. And the moral values are not the ultimate. That is exactly what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said. The grihasthas, the householders, they should practice morality. They should not give up. But the morality is not the ultimate goal. But Trailakya, who was arguing, he was a one of the founder members perhaps of the Brahma Samaj, he was telling, but sir, there are good people in the world as well. And he was mentioning in the name of someone. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, oh, you are mentioning about him, but he already imbibed the truth. And that is the reason, in the words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he had drunk wine up to his neck. If he had drunk a little more, he couldn't have led a worldly life. That means his morality, his understanding was very clear. But still, he couldn't renounce the world because the ultimate was not there. So that's why he said a little more, then he could completely renounce. Trailakya remained silent. M said aside to Girish. I am reading from the page 757 of the English book, The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, 757. Then he is mentioning the Master Mahashaya, he himself could say, but he was of that nature, a very shy type. So he said it to Girish. Master Mahashaya was not liking the argument of the Trailakya, but he himself didn't go forward to argue with him. Rather, he said to Girish. Girish was a bold person and he was a very good conversationist and debater. So he said to Girish aside, then what he has written is not true. Girish to Trailakya. Now immediately Girish got that. Immediately he said to Trailakya, then what you have written is not true. Trailakya, why so? Doesn't he meaning the means of Sri Ramakrishna, admit that a man can lead a spiritual life in the world? Now the word he used, spiritual life. Friends, we have to understand this. Morality and spirituality, much different. Now first is always if we go according to if a pyramid we make or the steps, first step of spiritual life is we are doing different things in the temple and churches and synagogue, all that ritualistic thing. When the first is the ritual, and after slowly, some people they remain in the ritual only. They can never go further. So they think ritual is sufficient. So every day they are doing yajna, they are chanting the stotras and they are offering these. With all ritualistic way and they are satisfied into that, and people also appreciate them, nothing wrong, they are not harming others. But the morality which is psychological, mental, intellectual, that they are not practicing in that way. Ego is very much there. So we are Brahmins, we are pure, holy people, we do this, we do that. They will give a big list. But that is not spirituality. That's the beginning of the spirituality. So that is, where is spirituality? After that comes morality. And when the morality comes, a person starts fighting with himself or herself. Because it's a question of morality. I should not tell the lies. Now the situation is such that I have to. They force me to tell that. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's father, Shudiram Chattopadhyay, those who have read the biography, they all know. He was so much forced to tell only one lie, but he didn't. That is called morality. At the face of threat or death even, when a person is telling, no, I am not going to do that wrong thing, he is a moral person, very strong moral character. And then what happens? According to, as I have said, Swami Vivekananda gave the 4, I added 1. The mythology. What is that mythology? Through the stories, they encourages us to practice morality. Then come philosophy. Ritual, morality, mythology, then philosophy. philosophy to clear our doubts. How it is possible and how it is not, all those clear idea about the truth. And what is the truth? Spirituality. When we become truly spiritual, we are completely transformed into that truth or the reality which never changes, which is the source of happiness, source of joy. So this spirituality means a complete transformation. So we live in this world, but not of this world. And when we are in this world and at the same time in psychologically, in the mind, people doesn't know, but I know myself. I have desires. I want name, I want fame, I want people should be with me. I want this, I want that. But that is not spirituality. Spirituality is completely transformed. How it is? We see in the life of Ma Sharadamani Devi, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, maximum, and all the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, majority of them. They were living in this world, but never ever careful about these worldly things. Never ever. How it is possible? Because they got the joy, the truth. Now suppose, for example, if we say, when the children are playing with the dolls or balls, bat and all that, the elderly people are not that way. But sometimes they will go and sit with them, play with them, and they will show that they are enjoying the game, but they are not attached to that. They know this is all children's play. But for the children, that is very important. They won't be able to give up that. They are attached to that. For the elderly people, no, they are not associated with that. It is enough. So this is the difference. The spiritual person living in this world, behaving like all ordinary people, like an elderly person, going to the children, playing with them, talking with them, sitting with them, but he is completely different. Same way, spiritual person living in the world like a worldly person, but he knows the truth. So he is completely disassociated from that. There is nothing, no desire in the mind. So this is the difference. In the householder's life, it is not possible. That is exactly what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling. The householder is the preparation to become a monastic. And in the monastic doesn't mean the moment you give up the hearth and home and put on some special dress, you become pure. No, that is also, it goes on the struggle. But the struggle, he has already climbed much higher stage. That's why Ma Sharadamani Devi appreciated the monastic life. And some people, when they are not married, mother is to encourage them, that is good. Because you don't have the bondage right this moment. You have already in the half free. Start from there. So the monastic life is completely different. But basic of the monastic life is the knowledge that this world cannot give me the ultimate happiness, joy. That understanding. And from there the journey begins. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling that why so sad? Doesn't he, that Sri Ramakrishna, admit that a man can lead a spiritual life in the world itself? Then Sri Ramakrishna, he was sitting over there, he was hearing, so he is immediately answered, yes, he can, but such a man should first of all attain knowledge and then live in the world. So he never said should attain God realization, no. He said knowledge. Because God realization again is another different thing. Knowledge means the clear understanding about the creation. Then when in this creation we find all these things some good, that means you have not got the knowledge. But after the knowledge, I am assuming. Why I am telling again and again? Because it is so subtle. And because we are under the spell of the Maya The Maya always covers our mind with that. Oh, this world is beautiful. Look at those people, they are all appreciating you. Hundreds of people, they are waiting for your word. And your ego comes. So I am going to give the light to this world. I have to do something for this world. If I don't do, then where these poor people will go? All this comes from the ego. I am not telling this is bad. Those who are thinking to do good for the others, that is good. But that is not the ultimate thing. Ultimate thing is to understand, as Swami Vivekananda said, at the fag end of his life he said, this world is like a dog's curly tail. I tell it again and again. You can never make it straight. So long back Lord Buddha came and he taught, and he traveled the length and breadth of the big country India, and he made the thousands of followers. But still the bad and good are there in the world. Then the Jesus came, the Rama came, the Krishna came, all one after another. So many people came. All are going on telling that this world is like this. Don't go for that. But majority of the people, they go for the world. They like to get it, grab it. And all these fightings that is going on because of this. So the knowledge is very, very difficult. Living in this world, at the same time completely detached, sometimes the people give the example of the king. But that he practiced so much, then only, otherwise it is impossible. So this is the knowledge, then he live in the world. First he should realize God. Then he can swim in the sea of slander and not be stained. He can be in this world, and the world means the people are always there to criticize you. There will be always any good thing that you are doing, at the same time there will be some people, they think they are very intelligent, but they are fools. But they will be always criticizing you, the full of misery. Whatever you do for the betterment of others, there will be people who will be doubting you. This is the worldly things. The world means like this. Today we are friends and tomorrow we will be enemy. Today I like to help and next day I will try to disturb you. That is the psychology it goes. To go beyond all this, you can imagine, to give beyond all this, good, bad, appreciation, criticism, no reaction to anything. Is it a small thing? No. So that is the reason, if one can realize God, God means one who is there, now we will come to that, incarnation, who is having all power, but at the same time is not bound by this. And knowledge means the truth that it is the creation of God, and he created it through his power that is called Maya, which is having sattva, raja, tama, three qualities, and with these three qualities he has made this, and just nothing like the magicians creating the wonderful world of magic. Nothing is true, but we think it is true, and we appreciate. Sometimes we go in awe, oh my God, how could he do it? He is cutting through the blade a human body just before the eyes of thousands. How it is possible? But actually it is nothing is happening. So that way the world has been created is a king, then there is a very powerful person, a leader, and this beautiful, then ugly. So many things are going on constantly. But all these things are nothing but the combination of sattva, raja, tama. What will be our try then? Those who are in the household, we slowly we try to imbibe the sattva quality. It has again been said that these are the tama qualities and these are the sattva quality. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmama, nirahamkara, all this in the Bhagavad-Gita, they have given the complete list of 26 good qualities, swatik qualities, daiva guna. The 16th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, 26 qualities, and we must write it and hang it before us. And every day we should try to imbibe, oh, these are the qualities I must have to. Achha, this is all possible. So let me try this first. And I have to keep an account, oh, today I failed in this, today I failed in this. I could do 50%, but like this again and again, that's called sadhana. That is called spiritual sadhana, spiritual practice. What is spiritual practice? We go and then memorize. We have already memorized some slokas, and we go to the temple and then chant over there and bathe in the Ganga and come back. Good. But that is not the main thing. Mentally you have to change. Your thoughts should be changing. An idea should be changing. How it is? Imbibing those qualities. As Ma Sharadamani Devi said, don't find fault with others. That is called sadhana. Whenever I find fault in someone, I have to tell, no, I should not. It is up to him. God knows what he or she will do. Who am I? I am not going to find fault with that. Of course, if they are very close to me, my student, my children, my brother, sister, I should try to rectify them, not finding fault. A very good person, but because I don't like, so I go on finding fault. So these are the spiritual practices. But that is also nothing. We are only reading some book, but when the challenges are coming, can we truly stand before them? Like we are reading so many books. Then when they appear in the exam, the question paper is coming. If we are not properly answering that, oh, I read whole year, 4 hours every day, 6 hours every day, it doesn't matter at all. You couldn't answer properly. So you are failed. Similarly in the spiritual life also. Every day we are going to the holy places, we are listening to the talk, we are reading, but we are not assessing ourselves. That is the most important. You have to assess. Nirjana Vash, Swami Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, you have to go to a secluded place and you have to assess your mind. You have to take the account of your mind, what type of thoughts are flowing over there. That these are the major thoughts. I feel like doing this, feel like talking like this, feel like this. So this way you have to. And who is a monk truly? He has already overcome that. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is giving the stress on that. Such a man should first of all attain knowledge and then live in the world. First, he should realize God. Then he can swim in a sea of splendor and not be stained. After realizing God, a man can live in the world like a mudfish. Mudfish, they are living in that mud, but very clean. That very moment they want, they can clean their body. The same way, we are living in this world, but not contaminated by the worldly things. What are the worldly things? In the 16th chapter again, after the first 3 verses, Lord gave a long list of bad qualities. Dambho, darpo, otimanascha is the pride, is the ego. All those things are the bad things. So 16th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita is very important for those who are sincerely striving to develop the spiritual life. The first 3 verses, all the 26 qualities are the divine qualities that we should try to imbibe. And next, all those the Lord has listed are bad qualities, which is already there within us. We have to give up those. Then only we are going towards spirituality. The ritual, morality, mythology, philosophy, and then comes the spirituality. Sri Ramakrishna is talking about the spirituality. Hinduism begins with the spirituality. Ishavashyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. In the very first verse of the Isha Upanishad. So, if this world is nothing but the consciousness, that is the first idea. Before that, Satyam Bada, Dharmam Chara, all that is when you are starting your spiritual life. That has been taught in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So, we have to understand this. So, what is the difference between householder and the monastic? We are discussing about householder's life is very good life. But that is the preparation life. So, whatever the responsibility that we have accepted, we have to perform that properly. And slowly, slowly we have to withdraw the mind. Why? Because we have understood this world is completely temporary. All these relations that I have developed, all are temporary. Nothing will remain. When I came to this world and when I was born in this world, I was not knowing who is the father and the mother and the brother and the sister. I was not knowing that. Then I developed that. And then one time I thought, oh, this is my this is my that, I should attest to this, I should. Nothing like that. Anything good, I am with that. Anything bad, I am not with that. Whether it is my relative, very close friend, no. If they are bad, I am not with that. That is exactly the whole thing, the Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra war is that is the teaching. The God is with him or them, those who are with the good thing. And God is always shun them who are bad, though it is his creation. But God is always with the good. Why? Because he wants that his creation, particularly the best creation, the human being should understand and then come back to him and realize him. That is called God realization. And he goes on telling, after realizing God, a man can live in the world like a mudfish. The world he lives in after attaining God is the world of Vidya. This is Ramakrishna. He is using the word Vidya. Vidya and Avidya. Vidya means the world of knowledge. What is that knowledge? Everything is there in this world, but in reality it is not there. In reality. In practicality it is there. I have a hand, if I am touching something hard, I can feel it is hard. Something is soft, I can feel it is soft. That is there, but at the same time, it is my imagination. So, how to accept it? That is the Vedanta is really, really very hard. So, when the people they are starting practicing Vedanta without understanding the basic of it, without the practice of the basis of all this, they land nowhere. They get nothing. And those who are engrossed into the ritual, thinking the ritual is the only way, they also stuck up and end up over there only in the primary school. They can't go to the higher school because that is the very, very basic primary thing. As Swami Vivekananda, he said, it is better to born in a church, not to die there. That means in the idea, conception, I am liking, I should be there, but that is not the end of it. Then he is saying, world he lives in after attaining God is the world of Vidya. In it he sees neither woman nor gold. He finds there only devotion, devotee and God. The world after the realization, everything is there, but I don't see the difference. I see only the manifestation of the God's love that is in the devotee. A devotee means who loves God. So naturally his character is so wonderful, so beautiful. And he can be with everyone, he can love everyone, serve everyone. Friends, spiritual life means a tremendous transformation, an unique transformation. Majority of the people, they end up with mysticism. No, that is nothing. Where is joy in it? Oh, I can cure some diseases without medicine. I can fly, I can do this. What is joy in that? It's nothing. And moreover, in this present age, when the science and technology has improved so much, what is the use of all those things? So try to understand the true spirituality, which is nothing but joy, eternal joy. And how that comes? By loving everyone. How it is possible to love everyone? By understanding that everyone is nothing but the manifestation of the same knowledge. So he mentioned over there, he finds there only devotion, devotee and God. Devotion means the practice, devotee who is practicing, and God means the ultimate goal of the practices. You see, I too have a wife and a few pots and pans in my room. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. I too feed a few vagabonds. I too worry about the devotees, hubby's mother for instance, when they come here. So Sri Ramakrishna giving the example that this is the way we always do, but there is no bondage. When you are living in this world, we need a glass of water, and a glass to fill the water, and the cup to drink the tea, food, clothing, room, everything we need according to the situation. Main thing is not, and most of the people, oh, why a sadhu should put on the dress, put on this, put on that. It is nothing. They don't understand. It has nothing to do with that. Sometimes some beggars are having nothing. They are without clothing, without shoe, without food, without bathing, with the matted hair. Are they God realized people? If those external thing was the cause of God realization, all those people who are beggars, unfortunately, who are not having any home, homeless people, are they all God realized people? But still, if you go, some people will be observing, oh, the Swami has wearing this type of dress, this is the thing, that is the thing. According to the situation, it is necessary. When a monk is living in the cave in the Himalaya, he doesn't need all this. But when a person, the monk, is in his mission, is visiting people, giving the talk in the university and talking with these people, he should need the proper dress. But the moment he is putting on some clothes doesn't mean he is losing the ideal. And without the ideal, ideology, without the practices, if he is showing with that I am a renouncer, I am not having anything, that's hypocrisy. It has nothing to do with that. So these clear ideas. The monk should not eat that, monk should not do this. Who said? It is nothing like that. When they are practicing, it is okay. Austerity is good, but it doesn't mean that is the goal. Austerity is not the goal. Goal is to achieve the love, unselfishness. A devotee to Trailokya. I have read in your book that you do not believe in the incarnation of God. You said so in connection with Chaitanya. Trailokya. Why? Chaitanya himself protested against the idea of divine incarnation. Once in Puri, Advaita and the other devotees sang a song to the effect that Chaitanya was God. At this, Chaitanya shut the door of his room. Infinite are the glories of God. As he, meaning Sri Ramakrishna, says, the devotee is the parlor of God. Suppose a parlor is very well furnished. Does that mean that the master of the house has exhausted all his power and the splendor in one parlor? Girish, meaning Sri Ramakrishna. He says that prema alone is the essence of God. Love. Prema alone is the essence of God. We need the man through whom the ecstatic love of God flows. He says that milk of the cow flows through the udder. We need the udder. We do not care for the other parts of the cow, the leg, the tail, or the horn. Trilokya. Then argument is going on. And Sri Ramakrishna is very happy. In those days particularly, and people, they were very philosophical. Even the ordinary people, they used to read a lot of philosophical books. And when they used to talk about, they will be debating on a very high philosophical thing. Now many things have come, but that philosophical discussions have reduced. Even those who are practicing, they have forgotten. They only know about themselves, they don't know anything about others. And slowly they become dogmatic. They start believing that my idea, my thoughts, my beliefs, my practices are the only thing, and all others bogus. We don't want that. Without knowing, without reading, without understanding, they come to that conclusion. By that way, they are self-hypnotized. And these self-hypnotized people are known as the frog in the well. When Swami Vivekananda came to this Parliament of the world in Chicago, 1893, we refer again and again because that was the unique thing that happened. That was the very first time in the human society all the religious groups, they came and sat on the same platform. Without religion, human cannot survive. But if that religion becomes narrow, sectarian, that becomes the cause of suffering. So similar, the same thing we have to understand. The Swami Vivekananda, in that famous meeting, he told a small story of a frog in the well. And the meaning of the story is, if you are closing your doors and windows, are not opening to understand others, you are going to suffer. Sometimes we don't understand, and we think we have understood that our religion is based, our this thing is this. Then sometimes some people will be so aggressive and they go and try to create problem for others. But suppose you are a Hindu, suppose you are a Buddhist, you believe in the reincarnation, and when you are fighting with another religion perhaps in this life, and in that fight you die and take birth in the, God forbid, if you don't like, suppose you take birth in the other religious group, what will happen to them? Then to you? You died as a Hindu and then take birth as a Muslim, or died as a Muslim and take birth as a Hindu or a Christian. You don't know. According to your karma phala, you have to go. So friends, we have to understand this. It's nothing but understanding the reality. That is why the beautiful argument that is going on, the Trilokya said, the milk of God's prema flows through an infinite number of channels. God has infinite powers. Then Girish, but what other power can stand before prema? And Trilokya, is it possible if he who has the power wants it? No, it is possible. I am sorry. It is possible if he who has the power wants it. Girish was doubting, the question was, Prema is the main force. Trailakya is telling many other. God is having the complete power, superpower, he can do it. Then when the Girish doubted, the Prema is the main force, that is the milk, which is the mane of the cow, not the horn or the tail. The milk of the cow is the most important thing. But Trailakya is arguing, well, why not? It is possible if he, that means the God who has the power, wants it. Everything is in God's power. Then Girish mentioning, yes, I admit that, but there is also a thing called the power of avidya. When we are reading this, they know many things, but not properly. That's why we need Guru. We have everything. We know everything. When we read the book, we are all intelligent people. They understand that. But the Guru is a complete different thing. That means he has realized that in his own life. That realization is the basis and from which he can guide us. Only book reading cannot. With the conversation when you were reading, Girish was a well-versed, well-read person. Trailakya too. He wrote the book. He was a very good singer. But at the same time, their idea is not very clear. We will come to the words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the Guru who will be guiding them. The Girish, yes, I admit that. But there is also a thing called the power of avidya. Vidya, avidya, good and bad. As I was referring in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, first 3 verses, all vidya. Vidya means the knowledge, which is good. And then all the verses again, Lord said, the categorized, he listed the bad qualities. That also we should know. And then to avoid that, sometimes we learn from the bad people. How? That we should not go to that. We should not become like that. So Girish is admitting. Yes, I admit, but there is also called the avidya, Trailakya. Is avidya a thing? Does there exist a substance called avidya? It is only a negation. A darkness is the negation of light. There is no doubt that we prize prema most. What is a drop to God is an ocean to us. Trailakya is still trying to give an idea. The prema cannot be the final. It is the power of God. So he is telling like that. But if you say that prema is the last word about God, then you limit God himself. I think we are understanding the argument of the Trailakya and Girish. Trailakya, he said, the prema cannot become God. But in the Narada Bhakti Sutra, he said, prema rupa. What is the devotion? It is the prema rupa, embodiment of love. The prema is a completely different thing. Trailakya could not understand, I think, what is that prema mean. The prema, the word that we use as love, the conjugal love, the worldly love, the attachment, the affection. But this prema is completely different. What is that? In the Narada Bhakti Sutra, very clearly it has been mentioned. And we will come to know how the master is expressing. Then the master to Trailakya and to the other devotees, yes, that is true. But, then he said, an ounce of wine makes me drunk. What need have I to count the gallons of wine in the tavern? What need have we to know about the infinite powers of God? The Sri Ramakrishna is specific. Well, if you say the God is having all power and prema, the love, the divine love, is one of the power. Then why you think that this is the only thing? The Trailokya's argument is that Sri Ramakrishna admitting that, admitting means appreciating, yeah, okay, but suppose you get that love of God, which is the pure love, and by that you are forgetting the whole world, then you have achieved. That's all. Then what is the use of thinking what other powers are there and not? Girish to Trailokya, do you believe in incarnation of God? Friends, this is a wonderful question and very difficult to answer. The Hindus, they believe the incarnation, rebirth theory, karma theory. Buddhists also they do. But now the incarnation of God is a very important question. I was thinking today we will discuss it, but there is not much time left over it today. We may take it again, continue in our next discussion. What is the incarnation? Incarnation of God. The 4th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, it talks about this very clearly. In the 4th chapter, and that famous sloka, famous verse of the Bhagavad-Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abbutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sijamam. The God is telling, I create myself. That means He is taking the form. Now the doubt, can God take form? The moment He is taking the form, is He not becoming like us? Because we have also taken the form, the human bodies, animal bodies, bird bodies, insects and all that, different type of bodies. The moment we take the body, we come under the power of Maya. Because the body that is we have made, they analyzed it, is made of 5 different things. Each and every body made of 5 different elements. Shiti, Apa, Tej, Marut, Bhoma. That means the earth, the water, the fire, the ether, like that. When the God is taking the body, His body is also made of that. That means He is also going to die. That means He is also becoming limited. Can God become limited and take birth like us and die like us? That is the main question. So people are doubting it. There are a lot of discussions among the philosophers. The different people will be explaining it in a different way. Different viewpoints are there. We will follow the viewpoints of Shankaracharya and we will discuss it very clearly, very as maximum as possible, to make our idea very clear about the incarnation of God. If we notice, at the time of Ramachandra, Sri Ramachandra never claimed that he is an avatar. He never wanted people to worship him or to accept him as the divine incarnation. His father, mother, friends, brothers, no one mentioned about it. And in the Ramayana, if you notice, Sri Ramachandra never asking people to go and meditate or to practice japa or to do good karma, nothing like that. He is only establishing the families and the society's norms, good and bad. If you have given the word, you must keep the promises. That is the main thing. What is dharma? And in the name of dharma, we are doing so many things. We talk tons and tons. But Sri Ramachandra, he said, dharma means keeping the promise. Raghukula riti sada chali aaye, prana yau baru bachan na jaye. If you have given the word, you must keep the word. That is the dharma. We learn from Sri Ramachandra. No one doubted that, they liked it, they tried to follow that, and Sri Ramachandra was in that way. Then came the Krishna. At the time of Krishna, we see lot of miracles. Why? Then the people, they were much advanced, and the God in the form of Krishna wanted to tell them that God can be in the human form. The Govardhan Pahad, there was a huge hill named Govardhana. He lifted in his finger. The great power was shown. It is not, nothing is impossible for God. Why? To bring faith, to bring belief that God can be in human form. The most of the people, they think that God means something living in the heaven, somewhere in the sky, above, like that. But the Krishna showed it is possible to live in this world like a human being. That is called avatara. So avatara conception becoming more prominent from the time of Sri Krishna. So next day we will discuss about that. Today we should conclude. There is a question, let us try to listen to that.
Vikram is asking, how does one feel after enlightenment, God realization? What do you get out of it?
Oh, it's a good question, Vikram, but in the second chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, the same question was asked by Arjuna to Sri Krishna. And how I will understand a person has already realized the truth? Then he started telling the end part of the second chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, if you can read, I think from 54, 55 of the slokas. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. So the person who has given up all desire, and then the beautiful way. A person who lives in the world after the God realization, he lives a life of freedom, but enjoy everything of this world. Suppose you are not a supporter of any team and you go to enjoy the soccer game. Anyone playing good, in between the two, whoever is playing good, any player is doing, and you can appreciate, you can enjoy. But if you are a supporter of one group, if the other team is playing well, you cannot enjoy. Because that time, oh, my own team is losing, and you are in pain. So if you are completely different from the game, you enjoy more. But you are involved in that, you don't. So God realized person enjoys the most. Thank you.
Second question is, I label myself as an atheist because I don't believe in personal God or creator. How do I follow along? Please help.
Oh, that is also good. Suppose that if you think there is no creator, of course, we can think we have the right. But the thing is, if we look around, they'll find that some intellectual being must be there somewhere, whether you call it God or Jehovah or Buddha or Allah or Bhagavan, whatever. And if you don't think, but there is still some intellectual, intelligent thing is there. The intelligent field that they call it nowadays, it is there. Otherwise, how this neutron, proton, electron, if they collide, there will be terrible thing. Whole world will be destroyed. But they are going on moving without colliding. Only the human putting it in such a way for their own use to make a bomb and all that. So they are doing. But the nature, it is there. Tremendous force. But as if someone has designed in such a way, it is going on in that. Some people are suffering, some people are not. How will you explain? Sociological, political, economical. But at the same time, why those unfortunate people were born into that particular situation and into that country? There must be some reason. So the karma phala theory of the Hindus, that explain that. So that is the way it is really very difficult to answer all these mysteries. Hence we think that we have to accept God. But if you don't, but at least practice all moralities. Again I will tell you, if you are listening this talk, you must have noted I mentioned 16th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, first 3 verses, the wonderful qualities that the Lord has mentioned. Try to practice that. That will be sufficient. Practice 1 or 2. Then you will find the peace in mind. Thank you.
Kalyan Kumar is asking, what is the destination to which a common man should strive to achieve?
So, common man means, if you think that is a householder and or anyway, but you know that anyone, knowingly or unknowingly, our main goal is to be happy. Recently I attended one convention in the Riyadh, the heartland of the Muslims. They invited all different religious groups. They are slowly opening up, and they are, we welcomed them that step. Now, there also I told them what a human being want. Only 3 things. First, each and every being wants to survive. We want to know and we want to be happy. These are the 3 things. Now, ordinary person, knowingly or unknowingly, or a knowledgeable person, knowingly or unknowingly, heading towards the joy, the happiness. Anything that we do, we go to a friend for joy, for happiness, not for misery. Whatever we do for joy, for happiness. So, happiness is the goal. So, common man's goal is also happiness. The question is how to get that happiness. And if we go through the worldly things, I grab this thing, that thing, I will be happy. Of course, you will be happy, but temporarily. Then again the unhappiness will come. We will suggest, the spirituality will suggest, holy people will suggest to you, you better go to God, the source of joy. So, let the common man or whoever it may be try to understand that the happiness is within me, and by that way I can really achieve the supreme joy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let us conclude this with this mantra. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam ramakrishnam shirasa namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.